All right, shalom to the elect, the 144,000 of the nation of Israel. All praises and glories due to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Wadash, for giving us this knowledge, this truth, especially in the times we're in. So, not sure of the exact title I'm going to put on this video, but basically America's done, man. America's finished. It's just like George Carlin said a few years ago. He was on Glenn Beck's show, George Carlin. As a matter of fact, George Carlin was on last night on, I was watching what channel was I watching? One of those retro channels. They got a lot of them because music and television is so lousy in this time. They got to reach back to the 70s and the 80s and the 60s and the 50s for some decent programming, right? Which is another sign that this place is done. So last night, I think it was the Antenna channel I was watching, or was it Me TV? One of those channels, Catchy Comedy, one of them. They're retro channels. They show, sitcoms from 20, 30 years ago. So last night they had Johnny Carson, an episode of Johnny Carson back in, I think the year was 1988. And they had George Carlin on. And he was pretty funny. He came out and did his stand-up routine on Johnny Carson. Yeah, so Johnny Carson, fast forward many years later, he's on the Glenn Beck show, and he said, this country, as in America, is circling the drain. Okay, and that's according to Bible prophecy. All right, America is definitely found in the Bible, and it's known as Babylon the Great, and it is circling the drain. It's going down. The final death blow will be when Yahushua comes and wipes this place off the face of the earth. But before that, it has a slow burn, if you will. A slow burn. This place is going down, man. And to prove that even more, I have this clip here. This guy that you see here, I've been watching his videos. He's a world traveler. He started off as one of those passport brothers. And now he doesn't call himself a passport brother because he got some negative flack behind that when he was in Brazil. He had even though he says he loves Brazil to pieces, he had to get out of Brazil because there was this one Brazilian feminist, that took out of context a statement he made about the Brazilian women. So he caught some, if you want to find out about that, you can check his videos. He goes into that. So he caught some flack behind it. So he had to leave Brazil in a hurry, and he went to the Far East. He went to Thailand and Vietnam and pretty much Asia over there. He was there for a little bit. Cambodia, I think that was another country he went to. Cambodia, and then he left there. He liked it, but he really didn't like it, so to speak. So he went to Africa. He traveled to Africa, and he's in love with Africa. Okay, as a matter of fact, his favorite place to stay in Africa is Kenya. And he's given an interview right now he's over there in Ghana. He goes by the name of Auston Hollerman. If you follow his channel, you know what I'm talking about. And he's given an interview to this individual from Ghana. And they talked about a few topics in this video. It's a pretty interesting video. The only thing I didn't like about the video was I felt that the interviewer, the Ghanaian dude, was a little feminine, a little effeminate. But it is what it is. If you watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But there was a lot of good. He asked some good questions. The Ghanaian interviewer. A lot of good topics was covered, and then the topic of America kept coming up because this guy Auston Hollerman here, he's born in I think he said he was born in Fort Worth, Texas, and I think he was raised in Dallas. I think he said, and he has a strong Texas accent. He kind of reminds me of the brothers from Texas. In particular, Ariala, it kind of sounds like him. He has an accent like him. And, he talked about how when he first traveled to Brazil, I think Brazil was the first country he went. And when he had to leave Brazil, this is before the fiasco. I think he said he traveled to Brazil back in 2020. And when he had to leave, I think he stayed there for a month or so, something like that. And he had to go back to the States. He said he actually cried because he loved Brazil so much. All right, he kept saying, yeah, I got a peace of mind, man. When I went there, I got a peace of mind. Hey, he got the hell out of America. Listen, America is the pit of hell. Okay, America, I know that for a fact because I'm not American, all right? Let's just leave it at that. America is the pit of hell. Even my father, when I was coming up, we lived in Milwaukee, and my father kept saying, as soon as me and my sister's grown, he's getting the fuck out of the United States, and that's exactly what he did. He went back to his country, okay, which is St. Lucia, and he's been there ever since. And I believe that's one of the reasons why he's still alive, because he got the hell out of the pit of hell, which is America. America is the pit of hell. The name America means bitter, and the East Coast, in particular, the tri-state area. I'm talking about New York, Jersey, and Connecticut. That's the pit of hell. And you brothers that's from around the country, when you come over here to the tri-state area, you find that to be true. A lot of brothers have said that. It's no coincidence that we, Elder Pastor, myself, Elder Pastor Ramlam, he got out of Dodge. But it's no coincidence that we are in the pit of hell, which is the East Coast, the tri-state area. Okay, this is the word, man. Don't get me started, man. All right, you really got to have a strong mind to live in the East Coast, man. In particular, New York. Why do you think the people from New York are so rough, man? You have to have a strong mind to live in the tri-state area, in particular New York. But anyway, forgive me if I'm rambling. I'm going to get to the point. So this guy here, Auston Hollerman, right? So he's a world traveler. Been to many countries. So listen to what he says in this interview concerning America and why I say that America's done. I mean, we already know America's done. America's going down the toilet. But here's a so-called black man who has some sense, some kind of sense, and he's saying this. A so-called black American is saying this, what you're about to hear. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into it.
That's something they do in the States, and that's because of globalization. But I think it has a lot to do with a lot of Americans feeling like this is where we came from, which it is. So they come here, and naturally we don't leave. People usually don't leave stuff back in their home country. They bring it with them. And then people look up to the United States worldwide.
Do you think it's a good thing?
No.
Why?
What's happening in the United States? There's so many people leaving the United States to the point where they're charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free.
Did you hear that? Let me bring that again. Now, when I heard that, I said, man, that's kind of deep. That is kind of deep. I didn't even know that. Check that out. Listen, let me bring it back. Go back 20 seconds.
So they come here, and naturally we don't leave. People usually don't leave stuff back in their home country. They bring it with them. And then people look up to the United States worldwide.
Do you think it's a good thing?
No.
Why?
What's happening in the United States? There's so many people leaving the United States to the point where they're charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free.
There's so many people leaving the United States that they are charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free. So many people are leaving this place. So what's this bullshit about America is the greatest place on the planet Earth? It's all propaganda bullshit, man. And here's a guy who's a so-called black American who's a world traveler, traveling around the world, so to speak, right? Been to many countries, and he's made that observation. Okay, so that was gold what he just said. This is more proof that America's done, man. America's finished, man. All this fucking propaganda of this place. Yo, let me tell you something, all right? And listen good. If it wasn't for the fact that Yahweh Shem Yahushai got me here doing this work, I would have been out of this motherfucker a long time ago, okay? I'm telling you like it is, because I'm not from here, okay? Let's just leave it at that. I would have been just like my pops. This is the book of Isaiah. So when he said that, right, when he said what he just said there, Auston Hollerman, it took me like 10 minutes to sit and think of a scripture a pinpoint scripture that I could bring out to add to that, all right, to enhance what he just said. And the Spirit said, well, why don't you go to Isaiah 47? Isaiah 47 is the destruction, pretty much the destruction of America. And that can't come fucking fast enough, all right? Isaiah 47 and 5, we're just going to go right to the point, all right? It says, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness. America's heading for darkness, gross darkness, all right? And when I mean darkness, literal darkness. Because so many missiles and the chariots of the Lord is going to hit this place, going to turn it into a lake of fire. And when the fire dies down, the only thing you're going to have in America is a desert. It's going to be black, cloudy skies, skies of smoke, and a fucking desert. Okay? That's what it's going to be. All right? All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. This place is done, man. It's done. I'm gonna go back to the video and bring back what Auston said. Okay? Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans. That's America. Babylon the Great, also known as Babylon the Great. For thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. There you go. So what Auston Hollerman just said is leading into that. America is finished. It's done. It's finished. It's done. It's not going to bounce back. Okay? It's not going to bounce back. You can forget about it. It's done. All right? Let's get back to the video. By the way, right? Hold on a second. I hate when it does that.
It turns out there is one scent that a woman just can't get enough of on a man. One scent.
They're charging you to read.
Okay, we're gonna bring it back. But now concerning traveling, this scripture came to mind. Ecclesiasticus 34 and 10. Well, let me start the 9th verse. It says, "A man that hath traveled knoweth many things." Now, one thing Auston said in that video is when he first went to, I think I was going to make that point and I kind of forgot. When he first went to Brazil and he went back. Oh no, I did make the point. He said he cried after he had to leave Brazil. And then he went back again. That's when he got into that fiasco. But the first time, he said he cried when he had to leave Brazil. And he said when he got back to Dallas, right? Because he was living in Dallas, he was cutting hair. Maybe even some of the brothers might know this guy. The brothers from Dallas. When he got back to Dallas, he said that he didn't want to talk to nobody. And when he said that, the first scripture that came in my mind is this. Ecclesiasticus 34:9. A man that hath traveled knoweth many things. So his mind opened up after he went and traveled. When he went to Brazil and he saw a different culture there, his mind expanded. Okay? And that is so true. A lot of these jakes, right? Another reason why you got these dudes can't accept the great thing, because they never traveled, man. Never been nowhere. They don't know any other culture. Okay? Most of these so-called black Americans, they think their culture is that's it. It's the end-all, be-all, their culture. And their culture is, I got to say, their culture is the stupidest culture on the planet Earth, all right? The so-called American culture, that's the stupidest culture on the planet Earth. Okay? You got people around the world, by the time they turn 12, 13, they have a lot more experience than your 30-year-old so-called American. Okay? Facts. Okay? Because the people around the world, they're more in tune with reality, unlike America. America's fantasy land. Well, America is what do you call it? From not Popeye, I'm sorry, from Pinocchio, the original Pinocchio film made by Walt Disney back in, the 30s. America's funland, okay? All right? And the average American is fat, dumb, stupid, and lazy. Fat, dumb, stupid, and lazy. And that's how your elites want you to be. They want you to be fat, they want you to be dumb, they want you to be stupid, and they want you to be lazy, okay? But the people around the world, they can't afford to have that luxury. They actually get up and work. They'll actually walk to work. All right, they may walk for many miles. That's why they stay in shape. The food is better around the world. You don't have that. There's foods that they serve to you in America. Do you know that's banned in certain countries around the world? It's banned. All right, they don't sell it. You can't get it. Okay, so like I said, and I'll say it again, America is the pit of hell, and the tri-state area is the pit of hell. Okay, facts. All right, Ecclesiasticus 34, and that's my experience. That's what I've experienced. Okay, Ecclesiasticus 34:9. A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. And that's why Austin said when he came back after traveling to Dallas, I'm a little excited, after traveling to Brazil, and he came back to Dallas, he said he didn't want to talk to nobody. He said that in the interview that I just played for you. Okay, so you might want to check out the whole interview. Like I said, the only thing I didn't like was I felt the interviewer was a little effeminate. Okay, anyway, the 10th verse, he that have no experience knoweth little, but he that have traveled is full of prudence, as in wisdom, wise. And this shows with this Austin guy. Okay, he's not your typical so-called, and he's young. He's a young dude. What, he's 24, 25, some shit like that. All right, but he's not. When you listen to him speak, he's not your typical dumb, stupid, bonehead so-called black American. Okay, I gotta say it like that. I gotta keep it real. Okay, he's not your typical stupid, bonehead, dumb so-called black American. Okay, so without further ado, let's get back to the video. Let me bring it back a little.
So they come here, and naturally, we don't leave. People usually don't leave stuff back in their home country. They bring it with them. And then people look up to the United States worldwide.
Do you think it's a good thing?
No.
Why?
Yeah, they look up to the United States because they're fooled by the propaganda. Okay, the movies and the songs, they're fooled by that shit. But when they actually come to the United States, then if they have any kind of sense, they say, you know what, this ain't the place that I need to be. I'm getting the hell out of here before I get murdered. Hey, they even talked about that in the interview. Even Austin, he said, I think a lot of people in the United States have mental issues. You got to watch this interview. I'm telling you, if you can get past the way there were certain things the interviewer was doing, like he would go, he would go like, I didn't like that, just interview a person and say, oh, okay, and leave it like that. Stop with this, it sounds a little, it don't sound right coming from a man, that is. But they talked about a lot of things in this interview. Once you get past that and you listen to what both of them are actually saying, they made another good points about America. Austin said that he feels that a lot of Americans have mental issues. Oh, and then they discussed about the food, because the Ghanaian guy, he said, you think it's the food that they eat? And he said, yeah, I think that has something to do with it. So it's kind of eye-opening, this interview. I'm gonna keep it real, But let's go back.
What's happening in the United States? There's so many people leaving the United States to the point where they're charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free.
So that's deep. That says a lot. That speaks volumes. For them to charge you, So they say, man, too many people are leaving America. We got to start charging them, because it's all about money with these devils over here anyway. But that was deep when he said that. I was like, oh, check that out. And how our mind thinks. Immediately we're thinking of the scriptures. Okay.
So I believe it's like $5,000 to say you don't want to be a U.S. citizen.
Really?
Yeah, because
it went from, check this out. It went from zero, being free if you wanted to renounce your citizenship, because they had to say, oh, you'll be back. Nah, once you leave and you actually, this man cried when he had to come back to America after he went to Brazil. There's certain countries you go to, once you get out of the airspace of America, it's like a truckload of demons hop off of you, man. It's like a truckload of demons hop off of you, and you can actually think. That black cloud that's perpetually around your head, because you're in America, it's suddenly it just goes away, and it's like you can breathe. Okay, it's the fact, man. Those of you who want to come to America, right? You've never been to America. Let me save you some time. You don't want to come to this place, okay? You do not want to come to this place, okay? Unless you're super wicked, which if you're in the truth, I don't see how you would be. If you're super wicked, you'd want to come here. You'd fit right in. But if you have some kind of decency, some kind of morals, some kind of sense, above all, some kind of common sense, you don't want to come here, okay? You do not want to come here, all right? So this man actually said he cried when he had to come back to the United States. All right, he kept saying, man, I finally got a peace of mind. I got a peace of mind. Okay, he kept saying that in the interview. Let's move on.
Enough people leaving now.
Wow.
Let me bring that back one more time. One more time.
Do you think it's a good thing?
No.
Why?
What's happening in the United States? You know, there's so many people leaving the United States to the point where they're charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free.
$5,000.
So I believe it's like $5,000 to say you don't want to be a U.S. citizen.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, because there's enough people leaving now.
Wow. Wow. So
Even the Ghanaians said, wow. Yeah. That's eye-opening, man. That speaks volumes. That lets you know right there that the people that are leaving, the people that are saying that you got to pay this money to leave, they know that those people won't be coming back. And they're seeing a trend that people are leaving America. As a matter of fact, flee. Oh, wait a minute, flee back. We would have flee Babylon. Whoa. Barakatah Yahweh Shemi Ashai. I wasn't even thinking about that scripture. Flee Babylon. Hey, I hope you brothers and you sisters are getting edified. Okay? America's done, man. It's finished. It's finished. Alright. Just like your music of today, it's finished. It's finished. Hold up, man. Hold up. There's a couple of scriptures here. Here's one. Jeremiah 50:16. Cut off the sword from Babylon. This Babylon is talking about is America. And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest, for fear of the oppressing sword. And that oppressing sword grows thick, goes sharper and sharper every day. Only a matter of time till all hell break loose in America. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his land. So you just heard what Austin said, right? Now they charging you $5,000 to leave this place. Because America's done, man. Like rats fleeing a sinking ship. Inside joke. Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Now again, this man, Austin, he kept saying, man, I got a peace of mind when I got the hell out of this place. And do you know he's let me see, it's been more than a year he's left America and he hasn't been back. And he told his mother, the Austin guy, he told his mother, once I leave this time, talking about America, he said, I'm not coming back. And it's been more than a year or so, he hasn't come back to America. And judging from the way he talks, he's not looking to come back. Okay? Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her recompense. Yeah, he's going to destroy her. He's going to wipe her off the face of the earth. And good riddance, man. Good riddance to this fucking place called America, man. The sooner the better. Let's get back to the video.
Wow. Wow. So the corporation is losing money now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The quality of life is going down dramatically.
He's talking about in America. The quality of life is going down dramatically in America.
Marriage rates worldwide are going down, but there they are for sure.
All over the earth, God is raising up a new breed of wealth builders who will use their money to shape the course of world history without building a golden calf.
Man, get out of here.
Marriage rates worldwide are going down, but there they are for sure. They might be the leader, I think. I don't know. Birth rates are going down. The happiness is going down. It's not as good as y'all think.
You making like $120K, $120,000 every year in the States, cutting hair, and you leaving that behind to doing what you do now. Don't you feel like you're messing something out, or
Listen
what do you
to
know
this.
that I don't know?
He was doing that before he first he said he dropped out of college because he said college was basically bullshit. He said the only reason he went, talking about this guy here, Austin, the only reason he went because his mother, you know, him being raised up by a single parent, really. He said his father was around, but he's mostly raised by his mother. And he said it was his mother that pushed, typical so-called black woman, it was his mother that pushed him to go to college. So when he went to college, after a while, he said, this is bullshit. So he dropped out, and then he took up the profession of cutting hair. And he was making so much money, especially like he said during the COVID thing, that he said, man, I'm going to go, this is going to be my trade. So you just heard the other guy, the Ghanaian guy, said he was making 120K, because they bring that out in the interview. He was making 120K cutting hair. Okay, which is, if you're very good at it, could be a lucrative profession. So he used that money to start traveling. Okay, so when he finally got the hell out of America, he saw so much traveling. He said, "Man, America's not for me." Basically, he came to the conclusion, America's not for me. All right, so let's bring it back.
$120,000
And what's funny is the guy is an American. He's a so-called American, born in Texas.
every year in the States cutting hair, and you leaving that behind to doing what you do now.
Now listen to this.
Don't you feel like you're messing something out, or what do you know that I don't know?
No, because a peace of mind is more important than how much money you make.
Woo! All right now, a peace of mind. Like I said, I'll say it again. If it wasn't for the fact that Yahweh Shemiah Shai got me here to do this work, right where I'm supposed to be in Babylon, to watch it just be destroyed, if it be the Lord's will, I would have been out of here a long time ago. just like my man in the movie Scarface. I told you a long time ago, Tony, not to fuck with me. I would have been out of here a long time ago. Guaranteed. Facts. Okay?
That's why.
Because I want a peace of mind. But guess what? I'm supposed to be in hell. I'm supposed to be in the pit of hell. All right? So I can do this work.
I respect that.
You gotta respect that. We gotta hear that again. And one thing I like about this guy, Austin, he gives straightforward answers. He doesn't mince words. He's just straightforward with it. I'll give him that.
That behind to doing what you do now. Don't you feel like you're messing something out, or what do you know that I don't know?
No, because a peace of mind is more important than how much money you make.
That's why. I respect.
Now, you know how he's able to give that answer? That's a wise answer. You know why? Because this man has traveled. The scriptures don't lie, people. It says a man that have traveled is wise. He's seen things. All right? He's able to make the distinction between not having a peace of mind and wanting a peace of mind after experiencing it. Like he said, he went to Brazil and he experienced a peace of mind that he got down there, right? And he actually cried when he had to go back to America because his visa ran out. Okay? So pretty much that's it. I mean, I don't have to keep going on and on with it. You get the point. America's done. It's finished. America should be put to bed. Honestly. It's the worst place on the planet Earth. All right? I'll say it one more time in case you didn't hear me and I did not stutter. America is the worst place on the planet Earth. The very word means bitter. What more do you want? What more proof do you need? This place have to be wiped off the face of the earth. Guaranteed. And it will be. Yahushua is on his way. All right? So with that, on to the next one.